So you received this email. It says, Edward, this is sensitive, so it will be the first and last email, depending on your discretion. You can choose to take it or trash it, but this comes from a person that has been there and seen it all. As a former staff at the Zorro, the material below was taken from Jeffrey Epstein's home as my insurance in case of future litigation against Epstein. What is damning about Jeffrey Epstein is yet to be written. Did you know somewhere in the hills outside the Zorro, two foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey and Madam G? Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex.
That disturbing claim comes from an anonymous email tied to Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. The man discussing it in this interview is Eddie Aragon, an Albuquerque radio host who says he received this message shortly after Epstein's death in 2019. According to Aragon, the sender claimed to be a former staff member at the ranch and said they had taken material from Epstein's home as insurance in case of future legal action. The email even offered to send a USB containing alleged video evidence, but only if Aragon sent 1 Bitcoin in return. Aragon says he immediately realized the situation was extremely serious.
So you receive this email. What is going through your head as you open this up and as you read it?
Yeah, so my immediate feeling was, your blood runs cold, this seems serious, and you don't know what to do about it. It was never in my head to convey the crypto to this person because I was in possession of no crypto. Didn't have any, and even if I had it, I wouldn't have paid for this type of material. Possession of child porn, those are federal crimes.
Instead of engaging with the sender, Aragon says he forwarded the information to law enforcement, and he also says he never received the alleged USB or any additional evidence from the anonymous source. But there were a few details in the email that made him think the sender might actually have inside knowledge of Epstein's ranch.
The syntax of the truncated links that they had. I mean, that lines up with security cameras, which Jeffrey Epstein had those in plenty. And third, there's really only a certain number of people who had access to the house. You had access to the ranch, then you had access to the house. But there was only a handful of people who actually had been up to the house itself.
Aragon also pointed out that the email referenced Madam G, which he says was a term people around the ranch sometimes used when referring to Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate who is now serving a prison sentence. But the email itself is only one piece of the larger story, because when you zoom out, the bigger mystery surrounding Epstein's case is how many questions still remain unanswered.
Why are there so many redactions?
The best thing that could happen for Trump, and I think for the FBI and the current DOJ, would be for them to just release all of the files, and for us and for everybody to just go through them. I mean, you have seen perp walks in Europe. You've seen attempted suicides of former prime ministers and former prime minister of Norway. You've seen, Barack Obama's legal counsel, basically resigned her position at J.P. Morgan Chase.
That's something many people have been asking about the Epstein case for years. Large portions of documents connected to the investigation have been sealed or heavily redacted, and critics say that has prevented the public from fully understanding who may have been connected to Epstein's network. And for Aragon, one of the biggest unanswered questions is why Epstein's New Mexico ranch hasn't received the same level of scrutiny as some of his other properties.
They should ask the most obvious question is, why was Jeffrey Epstein here in the state of New Mexico? And then the second question is, why is Zorro Ranch the only place that was not taken down by the Fed, by the local agencies, or anybody? I think there's plenty of people who will benefit by the truth not coming out at Zorro Ranch.
And that's exactly why this interview is resurfacing now. Recently released Epstein-related documents have brought renewed attention to Zorro Ranch, and the authorities in New Mexico have reopened an investigation connected to the property. Officials have even begun searching parts of the ranch as they look into the past allegations tied to Epstein's activities there. So an anonymous email sent to a radio host back in 2019 is suddenly relevant again as investigators take another look at what may have happened at the ranch. At this point, the claims in that email remain unproven allegations, but with investigators now revisiting Epstein's New Mexico property, the questions surrounding Zorro Ranch and the Epstein files more broadly are far from settled. And interviews like this one are now part of the broader effort to piece together what really happened. So what do you guys think about the situation, and what do you guys think about the TMZ interview? Let me know in the comments below.